Hi, my name is Karine,
And my name's Bianca.
and today we're going to walk you through how to sew our Sahaara Wirefree bra.
This is a beginner-friendly pattern featuring 3 views: sheer tulle, full solids, or full lace. The features include a low-cut neckline and minimal design to give you the perfect relaxed look without compromising comfort and support. Our cup sizes range from a double A cup all the way to an N cup, and our band sizes range from a 24 to 46 inch ribcage. In this video, we'll be walking you through how to make the Sahaara laces view C with picot elastic. Our pattern and tutorials for the other views can be found in the description below or on our website at rubiesbras.com/tutorials. Let's get started. Let's start with finding your size. We recommend wearing your best fitting non-padded bra as you measure yourself. We'll be taking 2 measurements. The first measurement will be your full bust, and the second measurement will be your ribcage. Let's measure your full bust first, which will help determine your cup size. Place your tape measure around the fullest part of your bust and measure around your entire body, keeping the tape parallel to the ground. If you fall between whole numbers, choose the larger of the two. Here, Karine measures at 34 inches. Next, let's measure your ribcage. This number will indicate your band size and also help determine your cup size. Placing your tape measure at the bottom of your waterline or breast root, measure around your entire body, keeping the tape parallel to the ground. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out so you can neutralize before measuring. The tape should be comfortably snug, just like a bra band. Not too loose and not too tight. If you fall between sizes, round towards the lower number. Here, Karine is measuring at 30 inches. Now it's time to calculate your cup size. Subtract your ribcage measurement from your full bust measurement, then use our chart as a reference. Karine's full bust was a 34, and her ribcage was a 30, so the difference is 4 inches, indicating that she's a C cup, making her pattern size a 30C. Now we simply print out the corresponding pages with our size and cut out the pieces. Here's what your pattern should look like laid out together. Today we'll be making view C with full lace all around. Please note that each view and size category has its own requirements for fabric and notions, so please refer to the materials list in the manual. Here are the materials we'll be using today: 2 yards of stretch lace, half a yard of sheer cup lining, a 1/4 yard of low stretch fabric for straps, like stretch satin, duplex, or micro duplex, half a yard of power net, 2.5 yards of fold over elastic, 1.5 yards of 3/4 inch picot elastic, half a yard of twill or stabilizer tape, half yard of 1/2 inch strap elastic, 1 set of 3x3 hook and eye closure, 4 rings, 2 sliders. We're proud to source all of our materials from women-led businesses. Please see our website for a full list of our Sahaara bra sewing kit suppliers. For this kit, our fabrics are from Bra Builders. Next, the tools you'll need are a cutting mat, fabric shears, a rotary cutter, thread snips, seam ripper, pins, and 90/14 stretch mesh needles. Before we cut the fabric, here's some important tips to know. For the cups, we'll be using a stretch lace lined with sheer cup lining. For the back band, we'll be using power net. You are welcome to use a different fabric if you would like, but it's important that it has spandex in it and at least a 25-degree percentage of stretch. When using power net, you want to cut along the grain line, which appears as a brick-like structure. This is because the grain line has a much more stable stretch compared to the crosswise grain, as you can see here. So you're to place a pattern like so. Now let's get to cutting. We recommend following our cutting layout in the manual for the best usage of your fabric space and for visual aid. As mentioned, for the cups we'll be using a stretch lace lined with sheer cup lining. When cutting the lace, make sure that the pieces line up with the scalloped edge as shown. For the inner cup, that would be the neckline. For the frame, that would be the bottom edge. And for the back band, it would be the bottom edge as well. First, we'll cut the bra frame. Since this piece is labeled place on fold, I've lined it up with the right edge of the lace where it's folded over. Don't forget to mark the notch at the waterline. Now let's cut the inner cup. And then the back band. And now let's cut the outer cup. Next, we'll cut the inner cup, outer cup, and frame pieces out in sheer cup lining. We'll also cut the backband and power net, making sure that we cut parallel to the selvage edge, as indicated by the brick-like structure running across the fabric. Lastly, the straps will be cut in micro duplex. We'll cut along the grain line for this. Once you're done, you should have 2 bra frame pieces, 4 outer cup pieces, 4 inner cup pieces, 4 backbands, and 2 front strap pieces. Now it's time to assemble the cups. Sandwich and pin the 2 inner cup pieces between the 2 outer cup pieces, matching the notches and pinning to prevent slippage. Here's what the pin cup should look like. Let's now sew all the layers together at a 1/4 inch seam allowance using a straight stitch length of 2.5 and a width of 0. Don't forget to backstitch. Top stitch a 1/4 inch away from the seam line, securing the seam allowance in between the cups. This prevents wrinkling and adds extra support to the seam. You may want to base stitch along the wire line to prevent the cup layers from shifting around. Repeat with the remaining cup pieces to form the second cup. And here's what both cups should look like. You may want to additionally press the seams with an iron on low heat to flatten out even more. Next, we'll take our twill or stabilizer tape and sew along the top of the inner cup edge and outer cup edge to stabilize it. For the neckline, line up at the bottom of the scallop bowls and sew with a straight stitch using a length of 2.5 and a width of 0. Make sure not to pull the tape too tightly, letting it sit and sew naturally. Don't forget to backstitch. You can also use sheer cup lining as a replacement to twill tape. The tutorial for this can be found on our website at rubysprouse.com/tutorials. Now let's repeat with the second cup. Here's what both of your cups should look like. Here I have the finished cup and 2 frame pieces. For this first step, we can remove the sheer cup lining as we'll only need the lace. As you can see, we've marked out the center front point with a pin, and now we'll be flipping the cup over so that the right sides of the lace are touching. You want to align the neckline edge of the cup with the mark you've made in your frame like so. Pin in place and then move to the underarm side of the cup and secure it with a pin as well. Next, line up the notch on the frame with the cup seam line and pin in place. Once this is done, we'll repeat it with the sheer cup lining, pinning the center front, underarm, and the notch again. Make sure that the sheer cup lining frame is touching the sheer cup lining on the cups. Doing so will sandwich the raw edges in between the 2 frame pieces. Once the 3 main pins are put in place, feel free to use more pins along the wire line as needed. I usually use 2 pins in between the center front pin and the notch pin, and another 2 pins in between the notch pin and the underarm pin. This is what it should look like once the cups and frame are pinned together. Here's what the bra should look like after sewing 1 cup in. Now let's pin the second cup. First, flip the lace over so that the cup you've sewn is in between the lace frame and the frame lining, which will look like so. Then, fold the frame lining and the cup out of the way so that you're only looking at the lace. We recommend pinning the frame lining and the first cup together so that there are less moving parts. What you'll notice once you move the cup and the frame lining out of the way is a 1/4 inch gap from the raw edge at the center front to the neckline edge of the first cup, and that's where you're going to place the second cup. Line up the raw edge of the cup with the wire line and pin in place, making sure to avoid pinning through the first cup. Here's what the 2 cups and frame should look like. The raw edges of the seam allowance is hidden in between the lace frame and the frame lining. Now let's top stitch just like we did with the cups. Top stitch a 1/4 inch away from the seam line, securing the seam allowance between the frame's wire line. This prevents wrinkling and adds extra support to the seam. Go slow when you get to the center front and pivot once your needle is a 1/4 inch away from the second cup seam line. This will make a sharp, even point at the center front. This is what you should have so far. We have the cup sewn into the bra frame and we top stitched it along the wire line. Next step is attaching the backband. First, let's overlap the lace backband pieces over the power net pieces like so. Next, with the right sides together, match the backband and the sewn front frame. Sew through all of the layers to create your side seam using a straight stitch of 2.5 length and a width of 0. Finally, let's press the seam allowance towards the front frame. On the frame side of the seam, top stitch 1/8 of an inch away from the seam line. Once complete, add a second row of stitching 1/8 of an inch away from the first top stitching line. Our top stitch length will be 2.5 with a width of 0. Here's the finished look. Now that we have our cups, our bra frame, and our backband sewn together, we'll finish the underarms with fold-over elastic. We'll be using the exact same zigzag stitch settings as the neckline edge using a length of 2.5 and a width of 1.5. For the left side of your bra, we'll be starting from the backband and working our way to the front strap and up the tail. Like we did before, you want to stitch some of the elastic first before sandwiching the bra between the fold, and you just want to pull the other side so it catches a power net. Don't pull the elastic, just hold it taut and simply follow the curve. Be sure to catch the twill tape so it doesn't peek out either. And don't forget to backstitch. Once you reach the edge, raise your presser foot and snip your threads and the tail. Let's do the next side, but start from the tail and sew towards the backband. Here's what the underarm elastic should look like. Now let's attach the 3/4 inch bottom band elastic. Align the scalloped edge of the 3/4 inch picot elastic on the inside of the bra along the raw edge of the lining. Use a zigzag stitch through all the layers using a stitch length of 2.5 and a width of 1.5. Here's what the first pass should look like. Now, sew a zigzag stitch along the other edge of the 3/4 inch picot elastic. Here's what that should look like. Now we're done with the bulk of the bra. Let's now create the straps of the bra. We will be using the view A and C method, which uses a ring in front of the strap tab for this video. Feel free to follow the manual and eliminate the ring if you wish. Cut the appropriate strap piece of micro duplex or any low stretch fabric based on the width of your strap elastic. Here we are using a 1/2 inch finished strap width. You can increase or decrease the length of your strap based on your own measurements. Standard for rubies is 9 inches cut length, so we'll be using a 9 inch front strap and 9 inch back strap for the bra. You can use another material or elastic for your front straps, but we suggest you use low stretch or stabilize the elastic on the inside, as it is important that the front straps are able to provide support and lift and prevent unwanted bouncing. We will now fold these pieces in half, right sides together, and align the edges and sew with a straight stitch at 1/4 inch seam allowance using a straight stitch of 2.5 and a width of 0. Don't forget to backstitch. Now, you're going to want to grab either a loop turner or a safety pin like I have here and turn the pieces inside out. Here's what the strap should look like. Once you have finished turning, use your fingers and press in nice and flat, making sure the seam sits in the middle. Feel free to give it a good iron press if you feel it's necessary. This will clean up the look and hide the seam when you wear it. Now, we will then top stitch along the length of the strap at 1/8 of an inch on each side and using a straight stitch length of 2.5 and a width of 0. Don't forget to backstitch. Here's what the first side should look like. And now let's do the same on the other side. You should have 2 front straps that look like this once you're done. Now let's attach the rings. First, loop the tail we created through the ring all the way until you can't pull down anymore without wrinkles. Then, fold downwards towards the back and straight stitch where all the fold over elastic intersects, so the underarm, neckline, and where the tail meet. Let's do that now. Here's what that should look like. Once the loop is in place, trim the excess as close as possible and do a satin stitch to cover the edge for a nice, clean, ready-to-wear look. Our satin stitch is a very tight zigzag stitch with a length of 2.5 and a width of 0.3. So as you can see, I've stitched the loop down here and then satin stitched over the top of the raw edge to cover it and give it a nice clean finished look. You will use the same technique to sew the straps to the loop as well, and make sure the fold is about 1/2 inch long from the edge of the ring, and that you stitch as close to the edge as possible around 1/8 of an inch and satin stitch to finish. Here's what the finished front strap should look like. Now it's time to assemble the back straps. You'll need a 9-inch bra elastic or whatever size you measure, and in this case I'm using 1/2 inch wide elastic. You'll also need 1 slider and 1 ring per strap. You can often buy this as a set. If you look over here, this is an example of the assembled strap, and this allows you to tighten and loosen your straps as necessary. Now let's assemble our back straps. First, feed the elastic through one of the holes of the slider with the shiny side facing out and the plush side facing in, and loop it back through the other, leaving about 1/2 inch folded over like this. Now we will straight stitch at 1/8 of an inch from the raw edge and then finish with a satin stitch just like we did before. Then, repeat with the other strap. Here's what the strap should look like. Now we take our ring and loop our strap through. And with the wrong side facing in, we will loop the strap back through both holes of the slider. And there you have your assembled strap. Here's what your finished back strap should look like. Now with your assembled strap, we're going to apply it to the outer edge of the back band, and rather than walking the elastic up the back, we're going to walk the back band to match the elastic. The back strap elastic has a natural curve, so following it rather than forcing it to curve makes it for easier sewing. Let's first double check that the length of your hook and eye matches the length on the band. In this case, we'll need to trim a little excess off the power net. Let's do that now. Now we will sew with a zigzag stitch that forms a bit of a U shape. We'll go up, across the strap, then back down, pivoting at each corner with our needle down. Here's what the finished stitch should look like. So now we have the finished front and back strap. We're going to loop the front strap through the back strap ring and sew the straight and satin stitch once more, remembering to leave about a 1/2 inch fold. Don't forget to backstitch. Here's what the finished back strap should look like. Finally, we've reached the last step, which is a hook and eye closure. Now, open the flap of the eye side of the hook and eye. You'll use this to encase the raw edge of the back band. Attach to the back band with a straight stitch about 1/4 of an inch away from the flap's edge. Let's do this now. Now, we'll finish our hook and eyes with a zigzag stitch going over that folded edge. Our zigzag stitch will be tighter here to achieve a clean, ready-to-wear look and to prevent any itchiness or discomfort from the sharp edges that sometimes result with the heat sealing. For the hooks, you're going to do the same sandwich and stitch over the flaps on the right side of the bra. Let's do this now. And here's what your almost finished bra should look like. The final step is doing a once over to make sure all the threads are trimmed and everything is sitting nicely. And we are done. Here's the finished product. Congratulations on completing your Sahaara bra. We hope that you found this video helpful and we can't wait to see your creations. Tell us in the comments below what you think and be sure to send us your makes or tag us when sharing so we can see too. If you have any questions or need more help, don't hesitate to reach out to us directly by visiting our website at rubiesbras.com. See you next time!